You know, it's been so long, I forget what it feels like to even have a soul. Good evening, sheep. Today we'll be spinning top stories to make you think the people who are committing crimes against humanity are helping you. Listen up. Our top story: parents who want to protect their children are now considered domestic terrorists? They sure are! The #1 domestic terrorist organization, the Biden administration, has instructed the Department of Justice to investigate parents as domestic terrorists when they protest their children's minds being degenerated with critical race theory in schools. Little did these terrorist parents know that if they would just stop trying to guide their children in a way that's best for them, they could let President Biden's policies guide their children much better. Just look at how President Biden's son Hunter turned out. Now he's a famous artist. And President Biden's policies on children could do the same for your children as well. And the world's most trustworthy man, Dr. Fauci, has a new piece of propaganda out in the form of a documentary about himself. For everyone who's been wondering, how can I get more Fauci in my life? This documentary is an answer to your prayers to Satan. The critics, who the media funds, have given the film a 91% approval, whereas the actual people have given it a 4% approval rating. Looks like 96% of people accidentally think Fauci's a piece of garbage. But a lot of Fauci fans are coming out to show support for the Fauci trailer on YouTube with a whopping 7,000 likes, compared to a minuscule 109,000 dislikes. I think it's obvious that Americans love and trust Fauci. And if we can Fauci up those statistics just a bit, when you subtract the 109,000 people who disapprove of Fauci, presumably because they don't trust him, from the 7,000 who approve of him, then you're left with the original 7,000 people who approve of him. And focusing just on them while forgetting about the rest, we can confidently say that 100% of all those people approve of Fauci. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott has just signed an executive order to protect Texas citizens from Dr. Fauci in the form of banning all vaccine mandates, even for private businesses. This move has left Texans concerned, leaving them with no one to rule over their bodies with medical tyranny. Gavin Newsom, who's tasked with turning California into Venezuela, and doing a fine job I might add, instituted a new mandate immediately after winning the recall election where Californians were trying to protect themselves from him. He mandated that all kids K through 12 must be vaccinated. But just recently, in spite of the new mandate, Newsom has admitted to the LA Times that his own 12-year-old daughter has not received the new jab, even though she's qualified to do so. Some skeptics raise eyebrows at Newsom and his very consistent track record at being inconsistent with following his own laws, while others understand that authoritarian dictators like Newsom want to control your children's minds and bodies, not their own. And Newsom's law that outlaws theft in California seems to be working out for everyone, except California residents. This Justin! Newsom just passed a new law in California that requires toy stores to have a gender-neutral aisle. This new law will cater to children who don't have a gender identity crisis, but would like one. When 99.9% of children aren't confused about their gender, the only way to improve this number is by making all of them confused. And cultural Marxist Gavin Newsom is looking to do just that. The law was pushed by LGBT advocates who say pink and blue marketing is harmful to children. And they don't see what they're doing? No self-awareness about that. Okay. Evan Lowe, state assemblyman in California, said, "My hope is this bill encourages more businesses across California and the US to avoid reinforcing harmful and outdated stereotypes." Yes, Evan. That way we can reinforce harmful current stereotypes. It's also suspected that Newsom himself is going through a gender identity crisis. Mothers and fathers have picked up the clues as they realize a real man would never sacrifice the well-being of children for their political gain. In the scheme of things, breaking gender norms means we minimize how big of a deal gender is, whereas identity politics requires us to make as big of a deal as possible out of gender, regardless of the issue at hand. In our next story, Superman has gone woke. DC Comics has announced that it's choosing to turn Superman into a bisexual. This will be more inclusive to the B in the LGBTQ community, while also violating their fundamental truth that sexual orientation is something you're born with, not something that you choose. But as DC turns Superman woke so they can improve their social credit score of virtue signaling points, look for them to next drop the Man of Steel's superpower of flying in exchange for screaming like a victim. And look for next year's version of DC's favorite superhero, Socialist Superman, who no longer saves anyone from anything, but rather sits around demanding that it's the government's job to protect people, not his. Also look for Socialist Superman to start a gay romance with Bernie Sanders, who undoubtedly gets pregnant. I mean, how could he not? To say Bernie's too old would be ageist, and to say he can't because he's a man would be both factual and transphobic. Therefore, Socialist Superman will get Bernie Sanders pregnant during their passionate love affair. As we look forward to that bright future, let's not forget the gifts of the present, as DC has chosen for Superman to be bisexual. Now woke corporations will be influencing your children with sexuality even more, as it should be. Unless you don't think like a pedophile. That's it for tonight's news. The authoritarians aren't coming for your children, they're already here. And please don't protect your kids from them, because us feeding off adrenochrome is just a conspiracy for now. Good night. What's up, you beautiful weirdo? Before you go, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Cacao Bliss. If there's one thing I love as much as freedom of speech, it's cacao. Cacao Bliss has earned its spot in my kitchen cupboard for two reasons. I love things that are absolutely delicious, and I love things that are absolutely nutritious. But the best thing is, I love things that are both at the same time, and Cacao Bliss delivers. Cacao Bliss is loaded with 100% organic ceremonial grade raw cacao, MCT oil, 4 superfoods, lucuma, and turmeric. And even though it's packed with premium grade nutrition, somehow it still tastes feloniously good. I love things that give me a boost of energy and support my immune system and my health to help give me an unfair advantage of doing what I need to do in life to be on purpose and have fun. And Cacao Bliss's all organic anti-inflammatory ingredients help me do just that. I love to mix Cacao Bliss with my nut milk, coffee, smoothies, or just hot water. It tastes absolutely exquisite, no matter how you prepare it. If you want to join me in boosting your enjoyment and vitality, then you can get your Cacao Bliss by going to earthechofoods.com/JPSears. And because you're a wonderful person, you can get 15% off by using the discount code JP.